We're back officially now as we have the mics live for Calling the Audible.
Mine is live as well.
Eagle pointed at the screen and forgot to put our mics on. So
because you weren't paying attention.
I was getting my thing ready here, Eagle.
Were you?
Yeah, my water bottle was in the way.
On the Hot Sauce Sports show that we recorded right before this, by the way, if you're not yet subscribed to Hot Sauce Sports, please do. It's pretty awesome. Been listening to Hot Sauce Sports. We make fun of people in sports because they largely make fun of football. And so Eagle was graded D- for his productions so far this year.
Oh, there you go. Off the flyer you are, Eagle.
But is this like an academic D- or is this a Peeze expectation D-?
You like my ranking system, right? I do it so it's as complicated as possible. So I did my mid-season report to Mom. So I rank teams based on how they're performing. I rank teams based on how they're performing so far. So 1 through 20, right?
If you're expected to go 10
no, but wait, I'm not there
and
yet.
You are perfect at this point in the season, you are.
Well, no, but that's so like. But wait, before I get there, I rank one. Let's say I had 20 teams, right? So I rank teams 1 to 20 based on like how they're doing so far this season.
Right.
I do a little write up. The key players are not the players who I think are the best players, but the players who have been most effective. So another layer of grading, and then I grade. I give them a letter grade, but the letter grade is as follows. If you're doing what I expect, if you're just doing everything I expect, it's a C. So let's say you're the best team in the division, and I expect you to be 5-0, and you haven't really like wowed me with your games. You've just kind of been a solid team. Like Ravens are a good example.
Yeah,
they're 4-1, but they kind of haven't been that great. I give them a C, and then plus or minus is whether or not I like you as people. So C plus means I like you.
Or
C as I'm neutral, and C minus I don't like you. What?
Or you have Nick Dana on your roster.
If you have Nick Dana, you lose a full letter grade.
A full letter grade.
All right,
not even
so
a minus.
Full letter grade.
What letter grade would you give Balls Deep? Because
well, what did I give them, Eagle?
I
think I gave them a solid grade too, because I like them.
Well, here's their reaction to their victory over V-Town last Friday in Laval, where there was like
we just asked Eagle to do two separate things.
Fuck it. Glory boys. Go. They hated us.
We saw the podcast. They hated on us.
We started 0-4. We're 3-4 on the come up, boys.
Don't sleep on us. Don't sleep on us. Don't sleep.
Put some respect on our name, bro.
I need sleep because I need to get at least 8 hours of sleep per night.
I don't sleep, so I sleep less than 4 hours.
Could you get that again, please?
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't that great.
No, I thought you would have
Glory boys. Go.
They hated us. We saw the podcast. They hated on us.
We started 0-4. We're 3-4 on the come up, boys.
Oh, 3-4. Look at that. All right, yeah.
Don't sleep. Put some respect on our name, bro.
Bleep, yeah. Respect on your names. Yeah. 3-4, and you're in 8th right now in your conference.
I actually didn't see it. I was fairly offline this weekend. Got some family time, you know.
You gave them a B-.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
I guess that's why the minus means I don't like them. Right?
So what's their issue then? Like, why are they sleeping? And like, we're not sleeping.
What did I write, Eagle?
Oh my God! I just closed it.
They're upset at us though.
That's okay. I like making enemies. I feel like there's no better death than at someone else's hands.
Okay, so for Balls Deep, as Eagle gets that up here, they're 3-4. They've won the last 3. They're back in the playoff picture in the 8th hole.
I have it.
Yes, go ahead.
Michael Hiotis looks the part. Not only is he a great athlete, but his flowing head of hair adds a level of excitement. The 16 passing touchdowns don't seem impressive on the surface. However, once you add the 5 rushing touchdowns, it becomes clear that it is a great start to a brilliant debut. The main criticism I have, besides the team name, guys, the placement of your apostrophe would make one think that the depth belongs to the balls rather than describe the depth as being the depth as said balls, is the playbook. After that little tangent. When seeing them in person, it was clear that Hiotis is a one-read quarterback at the moment. If he's not comfortable or the defense changes their look, he's off to the races. It's a decent strategy, but is an indicator of being level 1 of development. That said, the massive underdogs upset Menace to Sobriety and Suicide Squad in back-to-back weeks. Look out for Louis Crivello to start becoming
all right, that's
a
enough.
name brand
I have enough of this jargon here.
We're done. Predicted record. Wait. Here's where it gets fun. Predicted record 4-6.
Okay, so they're on pace.
They're gonna go 1-3 in the next 4 games.
Might. I mean,
but
pace, that prediction was based on before this game, obviously, right? So, but like, again, this is 2 weeks in a row. Did I say anything mean about them?
Like, I don't recall saying anything bad about them. I just think we just pissed against them. That's all it was.
I remember you told me early in the season that, like, hey, Peeze, you should check out this team. They're pretty good. And I did, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty decent, right? But the point is, though, look, they're now in the 8-hole. Are you buying their Tang, drinking their Tang because they're now in a playoff spot? in all likelihood, with Trailer Park Boys behind them with a game in hand, 2-4 they are, so the boys can get back that loss here.
Yeah.
But can Balls Deep, with 3 games left, pull 2 out of 3, and with 5 wins, that should be more than enough to get a playoff spot.
So, when you're talking about the tang, I need like a definition on tang. Is it playoff tang? Is it championship tang?
Grape Tang. Grape Tang is a
Grape Tang.
fantastic powder.
So
I don't
their
think they-
schedule, by the way, they have Oscars Hockey School, Brewers, and Trailer Park Boys.
All right,
left.
they're losing to Oscars. That's my team.
I actually had them penciled in to beat Oscars and lose to V-Town, so I was wrong there.
The Trailer Park Boys game might be a win and you're in.
Yeah.
It might be a win you're in because Brewers also right. They can knock out Brewers and Trailer Park Boys with wins. All right, so when we look now at Oreos Peeze, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have now kind of stumbled along, crumbled the cookie as it is. Are we hitching our love wagon to save the Turtles, who are now creeping up?
Turftles.
They're creeping up in the standings right now. When you look at where they are 3 right now. They've quietly gone about their business. And look, they in all likelihood will be a 3 seed, if not a 4 seed. But they look like a better team defensively speaking, given who they have in their roster.
I've liked Save the Turftles from the beginning. Like since we started paying attention, basically, really good on both sides of the ball. And to your point, Mo, their defense has been very impressive right out of the gates here. Speaking of tanks, they got 2. They got Harrison Tang, Jeffrey Tang, very good players in their own right. The 2 that you put me on to Vincent Chung.
Yep.
And I want you to keep an eye out for Tony Vo. Tony Vo is also excellent.
He takes a lot of hits over the middle as a snapper. Man.
Yeah.
He takes some shots.
So, that's an underrated thing because I played snapper for a long time. The main reason I no longer play snapper is you get hit more often than you'd think in a non-contact
Absolutely
sport.
do.
So, much love to Tony Vo and his snapping ways.
They could beat Limithik, Bad Batch, and they have Orioles last week of the year. So they could finish with 6 wins, maybe 7, which will be more than enough for the 3 seed.
Yeah.
And I think with their quarterback play and seeing how they've done so far, you're right, their D has been great, but their quarterback play with Sebastian Noel has been kind of erratic, right? He's had his games where he's looked really well, but then he has, the first 2 or 3 series where he completes like 3 passes out of like 12 passing attempts.
Yeah.
So he's got to be a little bit more consistent coming out of the blocks of how he is as a quarterback. If he does that, Peeze, I think they can definitely be a tough out come playoff time in a few weeks.
Week 10, they play Oreos.
Yeah.
And to put it in perspective, Oreos on their schedule, they have Dilly, Chevrolet, Rohan, and then Turftles last here. So
and just a point on Oreos, Mo, I want you to notice something. Do you know when my mom's birthday is?
No, I have no
Oh,
idea.
my God. Worst friend ever.
I should be.
My mom's birthday is July 25th.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
The Oreos last won a game not by forfeit, where a game that they actually played and won was July 18th. My mom was a whole year older because that's how birthdays work, right, Eagle?
Tough, man. It's tough on those guys.
So my mom turned a different age in the time that they won another game. It's been their next game is August 12th. If they don't win this game against Dilly, which is a tough one, it'll be a month since their last win.
When they played the Ravens, I believe, this past week.
They did, yeah. They lost 32-12.
And Kwesi Gordemal, who was scorekeeping that field in Brossard, we both said it is literally men against little kids.
Yeah.
Like Matthew Uhl was going up against some grade 8, grade 9 athlete. Look, maybe 10 years time that grade 9 athlete will dominate Matthew Uhl, but in this present moment, it was child's play, no pun intended.
Yeah. Trey Bentley threw in this game. He didn't throw the entire game.
No.
So Justin Charles struggled a little. We saw Trey come in. The thing is that I get your point, but these guys weren't trying to register for Div E.
No, they weren't. They're trying to go for junior.
Credit to them for stepping up and being competitive, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool to see. But this was the first really impressive win by Ravens in terms of like handling an opponent
Right.
in a while. So I'm happy to see that on both sides. Happy to see Oreos sort of take their lumps to a more experienced team because that'll make them better in the long run. And I'm happy to see Ravens performing at the standard we've set for them.
Okay, so Pincello's.
That's a C, Eagle.
Pincello's.
Oh, do you have pencils?
no.
No, they actually got the forfeit win over Menace Sobriety.
They did not.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. No.
Pincello's is now 5-2. They were 4-3, Or I forget what it was. Did they not get the win?
No,
or?
they had only one.
No,
They only
there
one
was
loss.
so for everyone who doesn't know, there was a potential forfeit this past week. Menace to Sobriety may have
my
exceeded the
apologies.
cap.
Yeah,
for
Eagle
that
and I are in on
particular
those
game.
emails. That's why.
And so what ended up happening was the scorekeep selected the wrong player. Once we added address and everything,
Oh, that's my
they are
bad.
Yeah.
That's my bad. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
They had one loss coming into this game. They have 2 now.
Not my bad. Sorry about that.
I wanted Eagle to bring a box of pencils. I didn't tell him, but I forgot, and I was gonna break them one
How
after
do you
another.
expect me to do that then?
Yeah, I know. I wanted you to. I want you to do it.
I'm not telepathic.
Well, maybe if you try. Maybe if you try.
They were down 33-6 Pincellos at one point. Maybe to come back in this game.
I mean, look, I gotta say, Bobby Spaghetti's and his boys. Bobby and I had a talk a couple of weeks ago after I was pretty critical of him, and he said, "Look, Peeze, you're right. I'm holding on to the ball too long, and I'm not a good quarterback. I'm learning, and I wasn't supposed to be quarterback on this team." And I was like, "Oh, I mean, it's appreciated. It's cool."
Of course.
I also since spoke to Vince Romano. He knows we're enemies forever now.
Frenemies.
No, just enemies. And so the thing is like I saw this, and to be honest, I smiled a little because Menace to Sobriety, they're proven me wrong, right? They're proving me wrong that I doubted them for a lot of the season, and now that I'm on, I was gonna get into Pacello's wagon. I was right all along. They were false kings. It's proof. We have proof of false kingdomhood right here. So we know it to be true. The Pincellos, broken pencils.
Well, here's the thing.
Broken
right?
pencils.
They're 5-2. Trailer Park Boys, Suicide
Like
Squad,
false into.
and Oscar's Hockey School. So they could get up to 7 wins, but you wonder because, again, they got in his head. Chris Williams and that defense for Menace to Sobriety got into his head through some bad picks. Some routes were not run properly by the receivers, and that enabled Andrew Dennis Lynch to really have a field day, almost a picnic practically in the back end of the field to pick off Romano a few times here. And now, look, Menace to Sobriety is back in the playoff picture, thick in the race now at number 7. One more win, I think, gets them into the show. Pincellos at 5-2, bad loss because had they had that one loss still, they would have been in first place because the Rainmakers had lost their game on Friday night. So they may have cost themselves perhaps a playoff spot of being either a 1 or 2 seed, but that was not a good display on Friday night last week where I was there.
Eagle, it would be fun.
I'm listening.
This is going to be work for you, though. If throughout the season you could calculate, because like when we get to this part of the season, sometimes teams are not like a lock to get into the playoffs, but ostensibly a lock because like.
Oh, you mean like all the playoff scenarios and everything?
Well,
like
not playoff scenarios, but like
The
the percentage of chance
that
that team is basically clinched. Like, is a team like 88% clinched because they have.
For NBC Sunday Night
So
Football.
I usually do that come like week 10 because there's very few scenarios. There's too many permutations right now.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be
I'm
awesome?
not doing it.
Wouldn't it be awesome?
Okay, so
Wait,
get cracking
would be
by
awesome.
Sunday night, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Third, so for co-ed, third down for what? They lose to a very good Tamville Death roster in Power Rangers. And was this bound to happen, Peeze? Because we all thought they're going to steamroll through the competition. No one was going to touch them. And they were a full roster. They weren't missing any guys from Monday in Brossard when they lost to the Fighting Tams in Brossard.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
are-
so I get it. This is a game that they could have lost, right? Like this is if they were going to lose, it was going to be the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So they're full roster, but Power Rangers have much of their pieces. Power Rangers, one of 2 teams to go after Alexis Dubois covering the division for his inaccuracies.
Yeah. They came up to me. I won't say who from third down for what. Vexed.
Yeah.
Hey, you tell Alexis Dubois. I'm like, who? Alexis Dubois. Oh,
Prime
yeah.
Minister.
The Prime Minister. Yes. They weren't happy. They're not. Yeah, you're right. But that's the beauty of.
This is his initiation. I like it.
But it's the beauty of article writing, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna have haters, man. He has his haters.
Yeah, it's okay. I enjoy it. I always say you're not doing your job properly unless you're half beloved and half hated. But you need the exact ratio of 50-50. We have a passionate group of players that play in our league. We have a passionate community. And I remember the first time I called co-ed, after not covering co-ed at all that season. We didn't used to cover it on the podcast. I didn't write the division.
Right.
I got so many names wrong. And it was that first year where you had not yet sat with me and taught me how to properly prep for play-by-play. And I made so many mistakes. And they were up in my face. And so I was like, I know now that I speak very carefully about co-ed specifically. When I'm on the show, if you notice, I tend to fly off the cuff a little less with co-ed than any other division.
Well, if they're not for what, we'll have a rematch with Power Rangers next Monday in Brossard.
Yeah.
Does anything change? Do you think Power Rangers can power their way through and get themselves in control of the first place, the 1 seed, going towards the final 2 weeks of the season?
Do they have the range to do that, Mo?
Perhaps they do.
But you're saying that instead it won't be the range, it'll be their power.
They have to combine as one force.
Yeah, they do.
So
it's one giant robot of a force.
They definitely do. I think they can. I think they match up well with them.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It looks like it's a finals preview, right?
Should be.
And so it's gonna be hard for either of these teams to dominate that series, right? So I think what we'll see is they'll split it in season, and then it's gonna be a coin toss for the finals. It's gonna make, if they do face off, it's going to make it really interesting to watch moving forward. I think they'll split it though. To be honest.
I wonder for the Murphy brothers. I spoke to Jerry Murphy. I forget it was before or after the game. Anyway, he said he'll be there because we were talking about the tackle guys who are committed to training camps right now going on for University in Sejap, and how it could be difficult, right? Trying to balance, you're in school or camp from 7 a.m. till 4 or 5 in the afternoon, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. So
are these guys going to want to come to play a flag football game for 1 hour after their body's been through the meat grinder of car crashes all throughout practice? So if they're there, I think they're okay. But how energized will they be for this type of game? I'm not too sure. But again, this is a good one for Power Rangers, and now they're in control of their playoff destiny to be the 1 seed. And if they do take this game against Third Down for What, they'll have the easier road getting to the finals at some points.
I caught a co-ed game this week. I want to touch on it real quickly because their quarterback was missing. But early on in the game, it was fairly competitive. Fighting Tigers didn't have Seth Galina. Seth Galina is somewhere. He was posting some videos making fun of sea life in the aquarium.
So he's in San Diego?
I also was under the influence and joining in with him via DM. So he was out of town, and Maud Lacasse took over. And I wanted to give a shout out to Maud Lacasse real quick because they ended up losing the game. But early on, it was like it was a fight. It was a dog fight early against Sriracha hot chili sauce. Jeff Marquis, it showed sort of his experience and his ability to sort of just control the game, whereas more like us started making a couple mistakes, started taking too many deep shots. But her arm is impressive, Mo. I said this about Sarah Parker as well. I've said this about Vanessa Beery. Maud Lacasse has a rocket. I wish I had her arm. Like it's no joke. If she's not throwing for anybody, she should be throwing for somebody in this league very soon, because I was very, very impressed with her. I was very, very impressed with her.
Right. When I saw Yin and Yang play against Fantastic Nine, what's wrong with Yin and Yang? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Yin and Yang should be much better than what they are. Justin Weir is a quarterback. I don't know why he's not seeing the field properly. Tyler McPherson had him open a few times. Should be his go-to target, obviously, but he's not. And I don't know. They just have a rotating or a conveyor belt of roster guys who come in and out of the lineup. I think that's really stunted their development this year, because at 2-4-1, Yin and Yang should be a lot better than what the record indicates.
So it doesn't surprise me that they've had a rotating cast of characters. That's kind of what you get with this kind of team. Justin Weir, the biggest thing is he doesn't have himself to throw to, right? And you're saying like Matthew Peacock, or you said Tyler McPherson?
Yeah, Tyler McPherson.
I mean, yeah, but they have, they have Matthew Peacock, they have him. And like Matthew Peacock and Tyler McPherson have combined for, oh, sorry, I had the wrong time open. 30 or so catches. It's okay. It's okay after 6 weeks, but it doesn't seem to be where he seems to be going with the ball, right? Like those two should be your 1-2 punch, and you let everyone else fill in the rest of the.
But look at the roster for Yin and Yang.
Yeah, no, it's
like 5 pages long. Like it's not. You don't.
Does
build.
that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me because
the season they won was the season they had the most consistent roster.
Right,
But typically, this is what we get with them.
But I don't. It just baffles my mind. It's bamboozling how Junior DeFazio continues to add. Just keep a core roster in place and let's grow with that.
Yeah.
And
summertime's hard though.
No, I agree, Peeze. We know that for all the divisions, but look at the roster. This is like 20, 30 people on the roster. How do you even build a roster properly with guys coming in and out? Like, you don't get the feel, the vibe with it. So I just think they've underachieved so far. They should be a lot better than what the record has indicated so far. And we'll see in the final 4 games, what they have left, if they can turn the tables and perhaps finish 500 with 4 wins or maybe 5 wins if they can. So we'll see how that goes forward. Division C. So I watched this game, BBallers against Shit, and this is like a 2-part question here, but BBallers choking the game away, and I'll use that term very confidently because they were up by 2 scores against Shit with about, I would say, about 6-7 minutes left in the game, and Gianni Casati was in control. Obviously, he was not wearing his proper color for the uniform, so he did not get the game played for. But Peeze, to lose like they did in the second half, where Shit came through in the clutch with stops and defense, this was I think maybe a turning moment for Shit to maybe put themselves in contention for a top 3 spot.
Well, Mo, I'd like you to look at the BBallers roster for a moment, because the point you just made about Yin and Yang is also true of BBallers. They have only a handful of players that have played more than 4 games. But they have an immense amount of players on the team. That said, this is where the experience of Jeff Rosenblatt throwing for Shit versus the BBallers' young Gianni Casati, right? So Gianni Casati, as talented as he is, game management is important, and it's clear to me that he has a little to learn in that space.
Yeah. But now for Shit, they get themselves into position here, Peeze, where they are in control of where they're going to finish because they have a game in hand against BBallers for maybe the 3rd spot. And I look at it from this perspective. Sheesh is now making its way up the ladder. Shit is up the ladder as well. Could we see maybe one of these teams in Sheesh or Shit be a top 3 seed going into the tournament in a few weeks from now?
I've done some reporting. Shisha has suffered an injury. Dondre Board and hurt his shoulder. So I don't know the severity.
That's not going to help Andrew Langbert, though.
No, because it's a tall, fast, rangy player on both sides of the field.
And he makes he makes Langbert look.
He'll make any quarterback look good. To be fair, I've played with him. He made me look good. Like he's really good. He's a really, 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 really good FPF player. Of course, like you guys all know that I have an affinity for him. But nonetheless, it's a good team, right? Like Vincent Benjamin, it's impressive that every second catch is a touchdown, but he's going to have to fill in a lot of what Dondre was doing for the offense.
So the question is now, do you replace Dondre Borden with another player of equal value?
Well, I guess at this point, he would need a doctor's note declaring him out for the season because the IR rule. I don't know.
Because that hurts them. That hurts them badly.
Yeah.
And
it goes from being a very dynamic team to a very solid team.
And they're very thin from a roster number. We talk about the opposite, right? Of we talk about the robust numbers. This is very famished. So if they lose Dondre Borden, I think that is donezo for their season.
They had Max Bura play a game for them this season, and that would be that's a good comp, right? Like that's a player who does a lot of the same kind of things as Dondre does.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
So does Shit then jump BBallers? Look at the schedule for Shit. They have 4 games with a game in hand.
Do you think so? Having seen the game, I know Shit won. Do you think Shit are a better team than BBallers? I think this is BBallers' last loss, probably. While they play Les Centaures. No, wait, sorry. I was confusing with the Infantry. Yeah, they play Centaure. They play EZW. they play Les Gros Coqs.
And Ship plays Silent Ticklers, Infantry, and Le Centaurs. So
Yeah,
they can win and balls deep, right? So they can win 3 out of 4.
But that's the thing is, I don't see BBallers losing another game. Like the fact that they lost that one,
But if
they'll lose that game once or twice every 10 times.
But
they play.
if they have the same head-to-head record, win-loss record, and they're the 2 teams with the same win-loss record, shit will jump them for the higher spot.
But they won't, because they're gonna lose another game. They're gonna lose against Infantry.
Infantry will
You
be
heard it
very
here
tough.
first.
It'll be very tough. I think they can win 3 out of 4. I think they can win 3 out of 4. I'll give them that.
But then they won't finish with the same record.
No, but if they can somehow get that Infantry win, then maybe we're talking about. And look, I know Jeff
Infantry
Rosenblatt.
have 89 points allowed through 7 games.
I know. And look, Jeff Rosenblatt, I'm not sure what the situation is, but they need him to be eligible for playoffs, which he's now moving forward. I don't know if Jake Applebaum is out for the year. I don't know.
I don't want to accidentally spoil something, but I believe that is the case. I think.
Well,
Jake's
you can
out.
do some reporting, like if you have information.
I don't know if he's confirmed it. That's why I don't want to make a decision on his behalf.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. But we saw Les Centaurs going up against Blast. Blast had Kwesi Gordon Mull as a sub, which is a little dirty.
It was
And
play.
I felt bad for Jordan Rossi. You kept seeing that outside hook look open, and Kwesi was sitting on it waiting to pick it off. And he made that mistake twice in short
He
order.
was like a crocodile in the water when the wildebeest comes to get a drink of water, and he kept on going back, and Croc kept on pulling. The
I
wildebeest
thought you were saying Jordan Rossi was a crocodile. I'm like, what's
No.
bigger? Like what? There's like
Kwesi.
Godzilla coming to get.
No, Kwesi was a crocodile, and
Apparently, he tore his ACL.
Who did?
Jake Applebaum.
oh no,
Oh, that's awful.
oh no,
Jake's had some issues with injury as well. So obviously we hope him the best. There's not a nicer dude in FPF.
Great
But
guy.
before I
Georgia Bulldog fan, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Before I met him formally, like we just
Yeah.
sort of crossed paths a few times. I saw him at the field, and he congratulated me on getting engaged without even knowing me well, you know. And like since then, of course, we've talked more and we got to know each other better. But just class act, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was really, 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 really nice guy. So I'm obviously sad. To
Hey,
see him
Peace,
leave.
congrats on your engagement. Thanks, Andrew. It's Jake. Oh yeah, whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So when we look at the Gros Coq right now, they're sort of a no man's land piece of where the value is because they're kind of hovering where they could maybe crash the top 5, but they might be more in the lower half of this division here. So where do you value them right now at 3-3-1 with 3 games left? I think they could jump Blue Dreamers and get the 6th seed going into the final third of the season.
Yeah. So they're
Oh my God! Look at their roster too. It's another page.
yeah.
Oh God.
They are exactly what their record is. Like their points, 4 points against is identical. They don't really ever get blown out, except for that one loss of Infantry. But generally, they don't get blown out. They don't typically do the blowing out, except for one game against Top Sauce. They're a middle pack team, right? Like we've talked about how Div C, there's an elite tier, there's a middle tier, and there's a tier that's really going to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
They're the exact middle tier. So if they finish 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th,
Yeah.
that's fine. They're that team. They're super matchup dependent when it comes to playoffs. So
Right.
they would need to ideally finish in the middle where they do the 4th, 5th matchup or something like that, like where you're facing another middle team, and hope that there's a bunch of upsets. Like that's their path
Right.
to success.
Right. I think it's going to be matchup dependent for them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that. If they get, for example, a team like Sheesh, for example, right? I think they can.
And especially if Dondre's out. Yeah.
I think they can exploit that with the quarterback play that they have.
The reigning schedule they have is Silent Ticklers, which is not an easy game. Balls deep, and then BBallers to end the season.
Yeah.
So they're gonna finish probably about 500.
Yeah, they're if they get in the playoffs and they advance, they're gonna face Infantry, Blast, B-Ballers at some point.
Depends.
You
I think like if they win 2 of those 3, I think they can get to the 5th seed.
They can
6th seed?
Yeah, like with the tie in their favor, right? It absolves them from tiebreakers, perhaps if there's no more ties along the way. So they could definitely jump up and get a maximum of 13 points, which obviously may not be the case because of who they have left on their schedule. But if you look at a realistic number, say 4 of the final 6 points, which would give them 11, that would probably put them in position for a 5-6 seed at that moment.
Yeah, and like we're saying, that's ostensibly where they would need to finish
Right.
in order to give themselves the best opportunity.
Exactly.
And that tie came at the hands of Les Centaures, which, as we know, are one of the teams that are struggling greatly. They allowed a late touchdown to Hugo Alemano in that game.
Yep.
And they did stop the extra point at least, but then that only gave Dom Lefort 2 plays.
Right.
The game only 2 plays, and unfortunately, you couldn't get it done.
So Infantry, they start now a 3-game stretch where the win-loss record of their opposition is 14-5. Sheesh, shit, and blessed. That's tough. That is a very daunting 3 games they have left. I give them a 45% chance that they finish undefeated right at this point. Given how I've seen all 3 teams, I have a good grip of these 3 teams here. And
I rate your percentage 2 popsicle sticks.
So we're doing popsicles for this bet then?
I don't know. I think I know you have to rate my percentage, and I'll rate your percentage.
Let's do popsicles.
But the rate, okay, fine.
Let's do popsicles.
I'll give them on 5 popsicles. Let's see. What were their games again, Mo?
They have sheesh, shit, and bless. 14-5 record.
Shit and blessed.
That sounds like a religious.
Yeah,
like,
I give them like a 3.5 popsicle on 5 chance to.
So you're getting a 65% chance then, or 70% chance.
Dude, this isn't about percentages. This is about popsicles. Pay attention. I give them a 3.5 popsicle on 5. You know what? Let's make it more difficult for you. I give them a 4.98 on 6 popsicles.
So you're gonna give them like a 70.
I don't give them any percentage.
I'm giving them percentage. Well,
I give them 100% chance, but only 4.8 on 6 popsicles. 4.98 on 6 popsicles.
I am going with the hot take here. They're going to lose a game, 0% chance.
Well, they have blessed. It's gonna be a tough game too, right? Like,
all 3 games are difficult. They'll
in
drop
their own
one.
way. It's not.
Yeah.
They're different teams, right?
It's just like so the only top tier team they're playing, like the other 2 would be sort of trap games, right? And now if Jeff Rosenblatt is throwing the rest of the season for shit,
I think that's the case.
that changes the team a little bit. Jeff Rosenblatt's been successful at higher divisions, although this is not his team, right? So like, it might not.
It'll take time.
Yeah, and he might not have the time this late in the season. Sheesh, again, that injury, we're gonna see how that plays out, and then facing Blessed, that to me is the only top tier game that they have left to play.
It's in a way, this could be the exact carbon copy of what their playoff schedule could be.
It might.
It
Yeah,
could be.
yeah, that's a good point.
This is what it could be. Right? These final 3 teams is who they could be
Well,
facing.
but no, they would probably face a lower ranked team in the first round, though. No,
Right,
or no,
because
is
the
there a
buy
bye?
and all that stuff, right? And that's why. So they get
Yeah.
a preview run of how this could be for them moving forward. So we'll see. You give them 2.5 popsicle sticks. I give them 45% chance, and Eagle gives them
0% chance.
0. Okay.
What's the game? Sorry, Eagle. I sent you away and then asked you a question like a jerk. Which game are they losing?
I honestly think they're gonna lose to shit.
Okay.
That would be impressive from shit to beat BBallers and Infantry in
They
one
would
season.
shit on the
I
party.
think it's just gonna take that 1 week for Rosenblatt to kind of find his rhythm with the team, have them understand.
And
the
he
playbook,
did
and
in
then
that
you're
final 5 minutes against B-Ballers. He really
you
did.
go.
He really did. So we'll see what happens. All right, Division D. There really isn't a script for Division D, so we're
We
kind
were
of
supposed to have a guest host that I didn't book,
no.
so it's my fault. But luckily,
I mean, technically, I should have booked him, but also
yeah.
your fault.
But you're a D- producer.
With 24 hours in advance notice for the script. Right?
How many popsicles would you rate Eagles' performance as a
One.
producer? 1 popsicle.
1 popsicle?
Out of
5.
5. That's a 20% production.
I know. Exactly.
So
But wait, is it like the popsicles you can like split in half and share with people, or is it like the full big popsicle?
No, you can do individual popsicle sticks.
Okay,
Is it-
and is it a
is it like the
popsicle,
rocket
or is it
one? Like the
Exactly.
3 colored?
Is it colored? Is it the ones that are just like
We
a
can do
single
rocket.
flavor?
We can do rocket.
Okay, so
I don't think rockets like being called colored.
it's true. Fudgesicle. Can I get a fudgesicle?
Yeah, should we do popsicles next week?
Yeah.
I don't
that's
like popsicles.
Is it because they're phallic?
No, they hurt my teeth. I have sensitive teeth.
What about a Klondike bar?
I would do something for Klondike.
Okay, so we'll do Klondikes next week. How about that?
All right, sounds good.
Klondike bars next week, boys. Hopefully the weather will be nice for us to have Klondike bars. All right. So we look at it right now from the division standpoint of everything right now for Conference B and Conference A. We're seeing Conference B with Arush, new guys, part of my squad. I got 5-1. Blackout's not far away. They're 5-2. So shockingly dropped down from where we had them ranked initially back in week 3, week 4, where we thought they could make a run. So we still don't know, Peeze. And I can't get a grip on this division of Arush, New Guys, PMS, and Blackouts on who really is the best team out of the 4.
Yeah, so Blackout's second loss was surprising, right? They took a loss to Arush this week, and with Julien Lachance back at quarterback. So they won 2 games with Michael Kazak at quarterback. They had their quarterback back this week, and I went on and on about how special I think Julien Lachance is. And yet they lost that game. And so I don't want to overreact either. It was a 6-point difference. It was a super low-scoring game. I think this game in general,
like that, though. They like those grimy, low-scoring games. It fits into their DNA.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, for them to lose the kind of game they typically win,
right?
I find that surprising. So, like, if I'm Blackouts, I'm not hating that loss because it's like, hey, guys, we played our game. A couple things break differently. We win 18-12, or we win, 26-18 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm still on the Blackouts bandwagon because I love the roster construction. I love the defense. The new guys, they're okay, but I'm bored of them. I'm tired of them always making the finals, and like it's gotten to the point where it's such a fake rivalry with them. I can't even get up for the rivalry. So I need to find a reason I can hate on them. Why can I hate on the new guys? It's even there's a movie I like too. Like
because Joe, our boy Joe K, is obsessed with the target stat.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he likes it or he doesn't like it?
He loves it. When I told him about it week 1, he's like, "You serious, bro?" And so he loves it.
I love Converse. I feel like Converse doesn't get enough love. Converse to me is more impressive.
We kind of slowly dropped in Converse along with targets, and I think everyone's focused on targets now because you can literally, like, that guy in your huddle is like, I'm open, and then you throw him the ball and he drops it. Now you have stats to show that he has bad.
You have evidence saying you suck.
I love, by the way, as a quarterback, I love when guys tell me, "Oh, what the hell, Peeze? I only had 2 catches," and now I can show them, "Hey, I threw the ball 6 goddamn times. It's not my fault. Catch the damn ball."
So, I mean, look, you got PMS with Hawaiian Shirt Man and Brad Evans. You got new guys with Nicky Papich, Blackouts with Julien Lachance, and then Arush. I believe it's Eric Lalonde who's the quarterback. I'm just blanking right now on the quarterback for Arush. Eric Lalonde.
Yeah.
So 1 through 4, who is the best quarterback out of those 4? Lalonde. You have Lachance. You have Hawaiian Shirt Dude and Nicky Papich.
It's hard not to go Nicky Papich, but I can't. I'm not allowed to.
Inexperienced?
No, my unreasonable dislike for the team, and it's even a tepid dislike. But like Nicky's completion percentage, very impressive. What he adds on the ground is astounding, right? Like he's, the kind of athlete Nicky Papich is. Like imagine you have everyone covered, and he just decides to take it for 15 yards.
He's like an Olympian out there.
It's really frustrating. But I'm on this side of, I like Julien Lachance, although I think him and Brad Evans have sort of most to do to get to the next level.
Right.
Like Brad Evans will have these bizarre games where out of nowhere he just makes mistakes, and he has the best surrounding cast probably of all of them. Although the Kazakas,
they're really good, man.
They defected
ballers.
and went to Blackouts.
Yeah.
So now there was Julien Lachance, who again I think is very good, but definitely a guy who's more of a tackle quarterback who's becoming but he's all 3 of these guys I think are Division III quarterback easy. Like that's at least their ceiling.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think that their ceiling is.
So I'm gonna go Eric Lalonde. Eric Lalonde.
Yeah.
Because I talked myself into it. And that's the only reason.
All right, fair enough. And fighting Illini, they lost to Clinkers 25-0, and Josh Feeder did not have a good game. It was very disheartening to see him out there. He just did not look like he was in it. Their schedule gets very tough because they're in a fight for a playoff spot for higher seed. They got Arush coming up, Los Siete Amigos, LBB, which has been very tough out this year, and Loyola has been okay at times. So 3 of the final 4 games could really determine their fate if they're going to be in the tournament or not in a month's time.
Yeah. Big win by Marc-Andre Desaulniers coming back after a 1-game hiatus at quarterback.
Oh, dude, he is like Johnny Manziel.
No.
The emotional
the two
aspect.
could not be more dissimilar.
The emotional aspect of it, how he gets riled up and then he just takes a day off because he can't play quarterback.
It's an old reference, but I think more Jim Everett.
How about Jim McMahon?
You call Marc-Andre Chris. Who knows how he's
It's an
gonna
old
react.
reference, sir, but it holds up.
Yeah, I know, but he had a good game.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. I'll give him props for that. But now for Illini, they could slip because at 3-3, they're in the 8th hole. They are a game above 12th from leftovers, so maybe they might fall into a battle for the last playoff spot at this point in the year.
Did Kevin Smuda play?
No, he did not.
Yeah, he's been hurt. He hurt his hamstring. He doesn't want to push it because if it gets worse and then he can't play late season or playoffs, that obviously has a bigger impact. And Kevin Smuda's showing up to the games too. Like, this isn't a guy who wants to slack. Like, he's there for both of his teams at all the games, and he just, you see it in his face that it's killing him to not be out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think if and when he comes back, we'll start to see the more dynamic version of Fighting Illini. But again, the injury to Andre Borden might affect them as well.
So quickly before we go to Div A and Div B, lockdown now is in a fight with replacements. They'll play each other in a fortnight's time in 2 weeks from now for what will be an elimination game here. Peeze and Eagle. Eagle, are you confident in lockdown to perhaps hold off the competition and get that number 12 seed going to the playoffs?
No.
Really?
I mean, look, right now I'm dealing with injuries and suspensions and missing players or whatever it is. So it's not exactly the best season, but we're making do with what we got.
Will you make the playoffs?
I mean, I hope so.
So if you had to, Gianfranco's been very inconsistent this season, right? Sorry, Buccaneer.
Buccaneer.
Yeah, sorry, I can't always remember his.
It's
the
fine.
names.
He's been inconsistent is an understatement, I think, in terms of the way he's been playing this season. And I think it's not just him. I don't think the defense is proactive as much as I'd like it to be. Like, I can scream and shout as much as I want, but people don't move.
Yeah, but we talk about your defense a lot because you're here, so it's easy to get that information. If you had to, what are the things you would do to get Buccaneer to improve, like in a short term, whether this season or next? Like, what's he got to do to get better? Because, like, from the skill perspective, he's got to be one of the best quarterbacks in the division, right? Just throwing ability.
Physically throwing a ball, yes. I think his problem is either his playbook or he locks in receivers too early. He favors one side of the field. I'm not going to tell you which one, obviously.
The right side.
If you play with him, you know.
So it's just that. And I don't know if it's a matter of his comfort level. I mean, he's always preferred one side, so fine, whatever it is. But then it's also
everyone does, right?
But that's the thing, though. His playbook doesn't reflect that, and I think that's where the big struggle is this year, which is as games go on, defenses figure that out, and then our offense just stutters.
So here's the thing about Buccaneer: he loves being a rocket launcher, without any accuracy. He just launches deep balls, and I've never seen him use the short game as he should to keep teams on their toes.
I would say that he's impatient. I would agree with him with that.
He gets tilted sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. And it's weird because his personality wouldn't lead you to believe that, right? Like, he's a calm guy, right? He's a pretty laid back person, so I find that surprising. All quarterbacks have a dominant side. Like, I like throwing to my, even though I'm left-handed, I like throwing to my right side because it helps me step in better. But then I just call plays that allow me to use the left side in a different way,
right?
Where I don't have to make the same kind of throws to my left side the way I make them to the right side, for example. And I think he's a smart enough guy, and he's a guy who's dedicated enough to the craft to, I think, can do that.
Yeah, and a lot of his play calls are mirrors.
That's the worst. It's so yes.
If it's not going to work on one side of the field, it's not going to work on the other side of the field, right?
No, it's not. And we'll see what happens. I mean, look, you will play replacements in a fortnight's time, so we'll see how this goes for you too.
It's like you have Mike McCarthy as your quarterback.
Yes. I literally told him that at one point. I'm like, so what's with the Mike McCarthy playbook?
Brian Schottenheimer over there as your offensive coordinator at the lockdown. All right, Division A, Division B. Happy birthday to AJ Gomes, who is now 26. I thought he was 25.
So you know his birthday, but not my mom's.
No, of course not. I had no idea it was your mom's birthday a month ago. Now I do.
We were expecting you. We said it. We said a place at the table.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
we
happy
went
birthday,
there.
AJ. Hopefully this is not you turning down or now your skills erode because you're in the peak of your career.
Well,
I thought you were
when
going
was
to
your career over? What age did that happen at?
The 25%. What?
23 years old.
23.
Yeah.
So AJ, you beat him by at least 3 years.
No,
Okay,
you
so
played.
you're
You
good.
played after that.
Yeah, I did. I'm just teasing that eagle here. But look, happy birthday, AJ. Hope you enjoy the birthday week. I'm sure it's going to be a week or month long of celebrations.
I thought you would go somewhere else. I thought you would go with hope this isn't your last birthday, and I was like, that's dark.
No.
Jeez.
That's you.
Jesus,
No.
no.
I'm saying, hey, I hope you have a great time. So here's what we have lined up, right? So we talk about All-Stars. They'll play Khantraband this week. Who do you think the Braves will fancy to play in the 1 versus 2 matchup?
I mean, the idea, the 1 versus 2 matchup.
Yeah, because in the Div 8, it's 1 versus 2, 3
Oh.
versus 4. So Khantraband's in 2, All-Stars are in 3. So who do you think they'd rather face in the 1 versus 2 matchup?
Chernobyl, if possible.
They won't catch them.
I know. Probably All Stars. I think All Stars is a good but more flawed roster. Yeah, they got like creaky Matt Kerouac running out there. Like if there was ever a human embodiment of an actual shopping cart, it would be Matt Kerouac. The thing with Khantraband is I just think it's a more complete team. Like you see the fact that All Stars have allowed about 80 points more than Khantraband. I know Khantraband has one less game played, but that's a lot of points. They're not going to allow 80 in the game.
No, I hope not.
Or
That could
70,
be-
sorry.
Right, but we look at Kevin Wythe and Brent Bakken had a good question, right? Who's a better quarterback, right? Joe Mayo or Kevin Wythe? I think it's Joe. 100%.
Right. Career-wise, we know the answer, but
Right.
right now I think it's Joe. And
Yeah,
I don't think even Kevin Wythe would dispute it.
No, and Wythe's fastball may have lost a couple of.
He's also been hurt.
He's hurt as well.
So there's times where he hasn't been able to throw at all. Did he throw this past week? I wasn't at the game.
I'm not too sure. We'll look it up right now.
I
here.
am suffering internet lag. He did throw. 2 interceptions though, right? So I know it's
Yeah.
Braves, but it's still a multiple interception game, which is not common for Kevin Wythe. So maybe
But
he's
it's
not
a big
100%.
win though for them because they got wrecked 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
by 23. They get this one over them, and now they got Khantraband coming
But
up here.
that's the thing is that this team is, the teams are at this level are so close, right? Like I know we talk about Chernobyl, but like overall they're not that much worse than the Braves. But the margins are super tight. But that's where these teams win the margins, right? And so
Yeah.
like, All Stars were able to capitalize on that. Braves weren't, despite the turnovers, right? So that makes it even more of an impressive victory.
Yeah, I just think the Braves, in a way, would rather face Khantraband because the history of Joe Mayo and the Braves with Dan Lazare, they've had a superior win-loss.
Those teams don't matter now. Like that's not the same. The Khantraband team now is not the same team.
No, but
from all those years
I
ago.
think they know Dan's play calling.
Yeah, but everyone knows everyone's play calling in this division.
I wish we had the highlight of Lazare's. I think Lazare had his best throw ever in FPF career.
The one on Instagram.
Oh yeah, the corner route to AJ Gomes.
Yeah.
He threw
was a beauty.
rainbow. It was flighted in the air so perfectly and landed in his arms like it was a baby landing.
Like
in
it
his
fell
arms.
from space. It was awesome.
Literally a plane
Yeah.
landing. It was unbelievable throw. So when we look at it right now, BYOB is.
Did
on
you
the
think that we were just talking about it and didn't want you to go get the clip or?
I don't think I can get the clip, but I don't think he tagged FPF.
Oh, bro, just tag us, please.
So BYOB is on the outside now.
You're saved. I promote you to D+.
I'm gonna check
I like
to see
you
if
now,
it's
so it's a
there, but I
plus.
really doubt it's there.
So
Not you mentioning it, I don't think he tagged us.
no, BYOB is on the outside now at 2-4. I think they are starting to run out of racetrack here, and you can see it in their play, and it showed against Urgence Medic this week.
You mean it's not the tarmac from Fast 5, which was like 29 miles long?
Well, the Brazilian bridge that they went on, it was
Yeah.
like forever and
Yeah.
ever and ever, right? I was like,
Oh.
wow.
Greatest movies ever made. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I want them to win so badly. Like they're just a team who I like. I just like them. Period. There's not even a reason for it. I played against Matt Rene, and I respect his talent a lot, and I always wanted him to do well. and getting 2 games back to back against Urgence Mézic is the league doing you a little dirty.
Well, no, there's been like that with some other teams.
I know. We're talking about them. We're talking about my special baby boys.
They remind me of
my special baby boys.
They remind me of the Arizona Cardinals, right? They high scoring offense when they want to, but then they have these like yips and they just kind of go barren. But
the thing is that the worst part about all this is I know exactly what's going to happen. Just because I want them to win, the curse is on. They're going to sneak into the playoffs and face Urgence Mézic.
Third time.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
It's literally the worst matchup for them.
Yeah, I think KGP is going to hold serve. I think Here for the Beers will hold serve. Get Off Our D will hold serve. I think Junkyard Dogs may be the target for.
Well, but BYOB plays a lot of these teams. Like, don't forget, they have a game.
Yeah, they play Get
less.
Off Our D, they play KGP, they play Here for the Beers, and they wrap up with Khantraband.
Right, right.
So the Contraband game, whatever, that's a wash. But, like, you realistically may only need to win one of those games.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. But I just find the defense look really bad. They were very salty in their loss, BYOB.
They're not happy. They lost the game. They're my special baby boys.
Yeah. Steven Austin sent me a message. Can you give me a PD on that last play? I'm like, what? You lost the game, bro. Like, you're going to PD on the last
Stats,
game.
bro. You don't get it.
Anyway. All right. It is now time for...
Games of the Week.
I hate you.
Right.
I hate you so much.
I'm doing this because I need to buy time.
You're not my special baby boy.
It's fine.
It's been a terrible
D-.
effort.
I mean, you guys can yell at me all you want, but I'm the one who has to read out the game, so.
That's true.
I can,
We'll just sit here.
yeah.
I can load up a movie, Mo. We can watch something.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's because this script is a little bit soft this week, so it's hard to follow where we're going.
Well, it's
Mo
funny-
catching strays.
It's funny because I sent it the day before for you guys to adjust and add your stuff, but no one did.
I liked it.
Yeah, and someone forgot Eagle to call the guests for Division D.
Technically, I didn't have to do that, but that's fine.
Well, technically speaking, we had 24 hours to get a guest.
That's a good point. I blame Eagle as well.
Blame Eagle. Hashtag blame Eagle.
Yeah.
We
Legal.
All right, you guys ready?
Here we go.
All right. Let's go Division A and B first. Urgence Mézic, Here for the Beers.
Urgence.
Urgence Mézic.
Junkyard Dogs, KGP.
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 Get Off Our D, BYOB.
Get Off Our D.
Special baby boys. BYOB. Doing it. Let's do it.
Braves, Chernobyl 21.
Braves.
Braves.
Khantraband All-Stars.
Contraband.
Contraband.
Division C, Silent Ticklers, Les Gros Coqs.
I think it said Hicklers. I'm going to go Silent Ticklers.
Silent Ticklers as well.
Blessed Mangoose.
Blessed. That's a broadside
Sneaky game, though. Sneaky game, but I'll go blessed.
By the way, Stephen Harperstad, dome quarterback. Leave it at that.
Okay. Easy W, BBallers.
BBallers.
BBallers, yeah.
Top Sauce, Les Centaures.
Top sauce.
Top sauce.
I think they clinch a playoff spot in firm position.
I think so, too.
The South Harmon Institute of Technology versus Balls Deep.
Shit.
I'm going to go shit as well. I keep wanting to choose something different, but it's not working out.
The Infantry, Sheesh.
Infantry.
Infantry.
Division D, Blackouts, Pardon My Swag.
It was a good game. I'm going to go PMS.
Blackouts.
Arush versus the Fighting Illini.
Arush.
I'll go Arush.
The Leftovers, PDs, and Negronis.
Leftovers.
Yeah, leftovers.
Top Sizzin, Tuts, and Parlays.
Tuts and parlays.
Tuts and parlays.
Clinkers, Los Siete Amigos.
LSA.
LSA.
Kiss My End Zone, Vultures.
Vultures.
Kiss Manzo.
Tough Lungs, Johnny Fireball.
Oh, False Kings, Johnny Fireball. Give me tough lungs.
Want to do it so bad. Yeah, you know what? Johnny Fireball. Give me Johnny Fireball. Give me the False Kings.
Shocker.
Replacements, Ball in 60s.
Replacements, ball in 60s. Oof. Terrible. This is an elimination game. Give me ball in 60s.
Give me ball in 60s. They're going to extend their season by a week.
Glow Gang, Mean Girls.
Glow Gang.
Claw Gang.
Spares Legion, The Stoics.
Stokes are a mess. Spears Legion.
So Stokes, they've looked really good. I mean, took out your team last week. I'm really feeling this week, but give me Spears Legion, please.
Trap Stars, Lockdown.
Trap Stars.
Trap Stars.
Bruins, Hot Sauce Sports.
Hot Sauce Sports by 50, but I can't pick it.
Bruins.
The New Guys, Loyola.
This is a big game for
Yeah.
Loyola. Give me you guys though.
New guys as well.
Voodoo, Les Bleus Branleurs.
LBB.
Voodoo.
Division E, Les Chevaliers du Rohan, Quantrium FFC.
Quantrium.
Quantrium.
V-Town, Green Means Go.
Green means go for me.
V-Town.
Oreos, Dilly Dilly.
Dilly Dilly.
Dilly, unfortunately.
Melons, Ravens.
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 Pinchellos, Trailer Park Boys.
Speaking of false kings, am I
I'll
right?
go Pinchellos. I'll give them that.
I'll go Pinchellos as well.
Suicide Squad, Brewers.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
The Bad Batch, Blast from the Past.
I gotta go with my boys.
Blast from the past.
I gotta go. They get the first win. Suicide and Bad Batch.
Oscars Hockey School, Balls Deep.
My boys, Oscars Hockey School, brother.
Balls deep.
Menace to Sobriety, Rainmakers.
I like what Miss Sobriety have done, but this is a tough game. I'll give me
Rainmakers.
Rainmakers.
Les Mythic, Save the Turftles.
Turftles.
Turfed.
And in co-ed, we have the Sriracha Hot Chili Sauce versus Party Mix.
Party
Party
mix.
mix.
The Fantastic 9 versus Les Semi-Croquants.
Fantastic. 9.
Semi-croquet.
Fightin' Tigers versus Party Mix. That is a double header for Party Mix.
I'll go Fighting Tigers.
Fighting Tigers also.
Yin and Yang versus La Secte.
Yin
Yin Yang.
And a rematch. Third Down for What versus Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Third down for what?
All right, and that's it, boys.
It's the week.
All right. A reminder, please check your rosters to make sure you have guys playoff eligible, because we don't want to run into this. We always do. We don't want to run into this whole, hey, my guy was eligible. He was there weeks 6, 7, and 9. I just hate that. It's annoying. And also bring the uniforms, please, guys. Wear the right uniforms. We don't want to give you. We don't want to give you the gameplay. Like we want you to have the proper uniform number, so we give you the gameplay.
Also, we haven't directly addressed it on this show, but we are very much aware of a vaccine passport being discussed by the government. Once we get more details of how the thing's supposed to work, we'll be able to give more guidance to the community in terms of what we need to do. We don't know if it's something that we need to enforce, if the facilities need to enforce, if it's going to be needed at all for outdoor sports, if it's going to be... we just don't know. So
That's
we're
the thing,
trying to wait for more details.
Much like every step through the pandemic, we've had to, and we've gladly obliged and followed the rule of the government, right? So
If there is a passport, we'll make our adjustment.
yeah, just like to Eagle's point, we don't know if that responsibility will fall onto us, whether I'll need to be thinking more on a weekly basis,
Yeah, or every hour on the hour.
every hour on the hour, or if we need to, if it has to fall onto the facilities themselves.
Yeah, if and when it is announced by FPF, they'll have something now for the captains to read in due time.
All that to say, the one thing we are working towards is we don't want teams to feel penalized for this, right? So we have rules for forfeits and injury reserve replacements for games played for playoffs and all that type of stuff. And obviously some of you have indoor games, some of you have outdoor games. We want to make sure whatever we do is fair and not, penalizing to a team who happened to have a game in a facility where suddenly there's a requirement for them, right? So that's what we're trying to work through. Like I said, we don't have a lot of details, but once we get more, we're definitely going to keep everyone informed of what's going on when we get it.
For sure. And stay tuned. We'll have more an update in due time. Magic Words, please.
My mom is very disappointed in me.
Good night, Tokyo.
But they still have the Paralympic Games going on.
I know. But that's in 2 weeks.
Is it already? I thought it was right afterwards.
No. They wait 2 weeks.
I'm sorry, I really didn't care about this Olympics. It was the worst one ever. Worst Olympics.
Time
of all
zone was really tough, man. I couldn't watch. I didn't watch much. I'll be honest.
Same.
I didn't watch that much.
Plus, they blocked us. They blocked us from watching it on social media. Smart.
Stay classy.
Was a bullshit, she shake me